It's time to get things rolling with the first full field event of the season.
Welcome to the latest edition of PGA Tour Today.
Another PGA Tour season is underway as the veterans come out to try to stake their claim early. The rookies from last year now have some bragging rights of their own, and 24 freshmen will be trying to make a statement in their first appearance as PGA Tour players. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda Balionis. The competition will be fierce this week at the Sony Open in Hawaii, but the venue couldn't be more serene. All week you'll be watching 144 players battle it out in one of the most beautiful places on earth in Honolulu, Hawaii. One player everyone will be keeping an eye on is last week's winner and now 12-time PGA Tour champion Steve Stricker. The veteran has been battling a pinched nerve in his neck since the end of last season, which has supposedly affected the strength in his left arm. I say supposedly because the veteran looked almost perfect at the Hyundai Tournament of Champions with the help of a cortisone shot, and with Stricker, you can always expect that consistency to continue. If the Wisconsin native is able to keep up his impressive short game stats along with his putting, Stricker's 13th appearance at the Sony Open could result in his second consecutive victory of 2012. He'd be joining Ernie Els, who back in 2003 became the only player to go back-to-back to start the season. From last week's winner to the defending champion here, Mark Wilson is not a player to take lightly this week. Wilson will be making his 6th start at the event, and he'll also be trying to take the early lead in FedEx Cup standings for the second year in a row. The former Tar Heel finished strong in his first victory of 2011 when he was the only player to go bogey-free in his final 36 holes of competition. Wilson, who will try to become just the 4th player in tournament history to go back-to-back, will be playing with the 2005 champion David Toms and 2009 champion Zach Johnson. Remember, the last time we saw Johnson, he went wire-to-wire with Tiger Woods at the Chevron World Challenge, eventually losing to the former world number 1 by just 1 stroke. For more on what we can expect in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, let's throw it out to our guys from SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio.
Aloha, Amanda. We are here at Waialae Country Club. I'm on the driving range. The golf course is in perfect condition this week. The forecasts are great, light trade winds, very little rain, just a couple raindrops. It's going to play perfect. The one thing I've heard from the players, though, is the rough is down a little bit. What does that mean? It means that it's going to be just about as difficult from the fairway trying to play to the greens, because that rough is they're going to have to manage the lies and worry about flyers. Not going to have that much spin on it. It's not going to be whack it out and wedge it on the green this week, but trying to play to these little targets is very difficult. But if you do miss the greens, it's going to be infinitely easier for these guys to get the ball up and down around the greens. That means scoring is going to be very, very low this week for the guys that are really playing well and chipping their ball. Let's go out to Fred.
Dennis, such a pleasure to be back at Waialae Country Club. One thing you have to remember about this golf course, there is always going to be an island breeze, and something about this layout, it always blows across the golf course. Very rarely does a player have a shot directly into the wind or directly downwind. It is always a little bit of a gentle crosswind out here, and that makes shots very difficult. You have got to control the trajectory of your golf shot, and you've got to be able to shape the ball. Amanda, we have all the action for you on PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM. Our broadcast on Thursday begins at 5 o'clock Eastern Time.
Thanks, guys. You can catch Round 1 action live on Golf Channel from 7 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And for all the latest scores, news, and highlights, be sure to stay logged on to PGAtour.com.